The results are in for the runoff election for Norman's Ward 5 council seat. Voters also deciding on 5 propositions. We have team coverage and analysis. And an Oklahoma high school principal is recovering after a shooting in Pauls Valley. This is OU Nightly.
OU Nightly, I'm Michael Thompson.
And I'm Abby Hollinsworth. Votes have been counted for the runoff Ward 5 council seat race and the 5 propositions for the city.
The results came after a hotly contested runoff election that produced the tightest race overall last night.
OU Nightly's Andrew Paredes is live at City Hall and leads off our team coverage tonight. Andrew?
Guys, we now know who will be filling that Ward 5 council member seat right behind me here in City Council chambers. Trey Kirby winning his election last night, 53% to 46. Today, I got the chance to sit down with him and talk about what he wants his first 30 days in office to look like. It's an exclusive interview you'll only see tonight on OU Nightly.
Shocked and still shocked, really appreciative and thankful.
That's the feeling from Ward 5 councilmember-elect Trey Kirby after winning last night's runoff election against opponent Diana Hutzel. In his first 30 days in office, Kirby says he wants to implement offsets, a rule that would prohibit big buildings like power plants from being built too close to residential areas.
Make it to where they have to be 750 feet or 1,500 feet away from an existing home if they're going to set up in the middle, in the Ward 5.
Kirby hopes these offsets can apply to other industrial buildings that are becoming common in rural areas.
But it could be for AI data centers, it could be for windmills, because some of them windmills are 400 to 700 foot tall, and you don't want that right next to your house.
Kirby says these rules are about protecting Ward 5 residents from eminent domain expansion.
You have this right on your property that you've spent the last 30 years building a life and planning on retiring, and now your view of a pasture is a view of a huge 30 foot, 40 foot tall structure that's noisy.
Kirby also addressing another hot topic in Ward 5, the turnpike.
I will always represent the people against the turnpike. There's not going to be no deals like that.
He hopes to be a new voice for Ward 5, a voice that's always listening.
Vote for me. If you have a question or a concern, I want you to call me because I'm here to represent everybody. I'm going to listen to the people that put me here, not the people who just want to build here.
And as he gears up for service, his message to Ward 5 residents:
just hold on for the ride because we got a long way to go. Now, next steps are looking like Kirby getting sworn in April 14th. And he also says he plans on running in November. He tells me, quote, "I will run as long as they ask me to," they being Ward 5 residents. Now, another big moment from last night's election, voters giving the thumbs up to Proposition 5, providing funding for a new permanent homeless shelter in Norman. Continuing our team coverage, OU Nightly's Bryn Mead is live at the site of where that homeless shelter is now one step closer to being built. Bryn?
Andrew, that shelter is expected to be built here right behind me in East Norman. And while voters narrowly approved the plan for Tuesday night, the reactions across the community were quite mixed. Proposition 5 passed with just over 54% of the vote, approving an $8 million bond to build a permanent homeless shelter. The new shelter could house up to 120 people per night.
That we've just basically been having Band-Aid solutions to this issue in our city for a number of years, and that now we'll have the opportunity to have a permanent location. This is where it's going to be.
While city leaders believe this is the best case scenario for the unhoused community in Norman, nearby residents like Patrick Smith have some doubts.
Because I'm not for the homeless shelter being built.
Patrick claims that his vote against Prop 5 comes down to personal interactions with the unhoused population.
I've had my lawnmower stolen. I've had mail stolen out of my mailbox.
But with the proposition for the shelter going through, Patrick's neighbor Donald believes it's the right thing to do.
Well, I look around here and I see all these guys walking up down the street, and I feel sorry for them, and I know it's not their problem. It's our problem, and we need to take care of them.
The 2-year project will be funded by property taxes based on home value, with $3 for homes valued at $100,000 and $17 for homes valued at $500,000. Mayor Stephen Holman insists that the project will save the lives of the people that need it the most.
This is going to be potentially life-saving and life-changing for these people.
The new permanent homeless shelter is to be built adjacent to the care center on Reed Street. And continuing our election team coverage, OU Nightly City Council reporter Jack Hancock has a breakdown of the votes.
Thanks, Bryn. It was an interesting night here in Norman, and let's look at some of these numbers. So last night, Proposition 5, nearly 17,500 votes, which was a large turnout for Norman. We compare that to that 2022 mayoral race, which was a midterm election year. And in that year, that 24,000 votes there is quite a bit larger than what we see here in this year for the proposition. Let's also compare that to last night in Moore. There was a proposition on the ballot, and Norman far surpassed Moore. Moore has about the population of about half of Norman, so you'd expect to see quite a bit less turnout, but not 25% of the total turnout in Norman. So people said, compared to February, where around 78,000 voters were registered, that means that around 22%, that's that number for voter turnout, which was very impressive for Norman last night. A large reason for this voter turnout is the permanent homeless shelter that we were just discussing. Typically in elections like this, rural Norman does not vote in favor of these propositions. So we really count on this part of core Norman here downtown you see. This precinct 322 is where that homeless shelter is going to be, and just south of there, 325. Both of these wards, heading into this, people said that they were concerned about safety and that they would not favor this homeless shelter because of that. But both of these wards came out pretty strong. 322 with a 54% yes vote, and over 70% of people who voted in precinct 325 voted in favor. Now let's turn towards that city council runoff election with Trey Kirby and Diana Hutzel. So Trey Kirby, this is his third time running for this seat. You see here in 2025, he ran in the primary. This year in February, he was in the primary, which led to this runoff election where he far surpassed the threshold he would need. 1,600 votes. That's 1,200 more votes than he had previously gotten. He now won more votes for Ward 5 than any other candidate in the last 10 years. Pretty impressive turnout from the city of Norman and Trey Kirby last night. We'll keep you updated as we continue to get election results, and official election results, that is. Jack Hancock, OU Nightly.
Well, thank you everyone for the recap of last night's election results. OU Nightly will be following the 5 propositions as they move forward. And Abby, I got to say, it looked pretty nice outside, and it felt pretty good too when I was walking around this morning.
Oh, definitely. But the wind was affecting my hair a little bit.
Of course, me too.
Well, OU Nightly meteorologist McKinley Potter is in studio with the forecast. McKinley, what are we looking at?
Yeah, guys, it was a great sunny day outside, but definitely those winds were being felt across Norman. We could see here max wind gust in Norman, 24 miles per hour. In Oklahoma City, we saw those 33, even way out in the Panhandle, they were gusting up to about 36 miles per hour. And those are those southern winds, and that's going to aid in that storm development that we're going to talk about later. But coming up in your full forecast, we'll again break down that severe weather threat, a flooding risk associated with that, and some safety tips as you head into spring.
Thank you, McKinley. The U.S. and Iran have come to a 2-week-long ceasefire deal just hours before Lebanon's strike. OU Nightly's Madison Dealey has that and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
Yes, Abby, President Donald Trump and leaders in Iran have received a last-minute 2-week ceasefire deal as a victory for both nations. The ceasefire agreement may leave Tehran in control of the world's most important transit keys, Strait of Hormuz. Trump suggested that the U.S. may be involved in securing the Strait of Hormuz in a, quote, joint venture with Iran, but it's unclear if Tehran is open to that plan. Just hours after the ceasefire deal, Israeli strikes hit several commercial and residential areas in Lebanon, killing 254 and wounding hundreds. President Donald Trump told PBS News that Lebanon is not part of the ceasefire and, in quote, will get taken care of. According to Iranian state media, Tehran announced it would close the Strait of Hormuz in response to the attacks. President Trump and NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte will meet to discuss the president's anger over the military alliance in the war with Iran. Trump had suggested that the U.S. may consider leaving the transatlantic alliance after countries in NATO ignored his request to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Reopening the strait is still in question and is expected to be the main talking point of today's meeting. 62-year-old serial killer Rex Uerman admitted today that he strangled 8 women and discarded their remains in Long Island, New York, over 3 decades. 4 of the victims' bodies were found in Gilgo Beach on Long Island in 2010.
Thanks, Madison. Coming up, new legal developments in connection with actor Matthew Perry's death, who was sentenced by a California court after the break.
Plus, the trial surrounding the movie It Ends With Us is approaching fast, what Blake Lively is saying about her co-star and the case.
After 2 years, a celebrity's tragic death finally sees justice. Gracie Steinbrink has who is being held responsible in today's entertainment report.
Michael, a woman who supplied ketamine to actor Matthew Perry, is being sentenced to 15 years in prison for her connection to his death. Jasveen Sangha pled guilty to multiple federal charges. Prosecutors say she ran a drug operation from her home, targeting wealthy clients like Matthew Perry. Perry was found dead in his hot tub nearly 2 years ago. Medical examiners say the cause was ketamine overdose and drowning. A trial between actors Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni nears, and tensions are high. Lively's legal team is demanding to know if Baldoni will testify in person or through a deposition. Baldoni's team hasn't responded to the request for a comment. What to know about the upcoming trial is judges threw out 10 of Lively's legal claims earlier this month, and the focus will be on allegations of a breach of contract between the two. A popular UK music festival is canceled, and it's all over Kanye West. The rapper was supposed to headline the festival, but because of past anti-Semitic comments, he is now banned from the UK. West says he wants to meet with members of the Jewish community in the UK and, quote, show change through my actions. And rapper Lil TJ denies any involvement in a shooting that injured rapper Offset in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Authorities say Lil TJ was recording the alleged attack, but he was released yesterday. An investigation is ongoing. Michael, Abby.
Thanks, Gracie. The Pauls Valley community is rallying around a high school principal recovering after a school shooting.
What brave actions he took to prevent tragedy.
Yeah, guys, and we're continuing to talk about severe weather into this weekend. I'll have all the details of what to expect coming up after the break. Well, welcome back to OU Nightly, and thank you for joining us here on this Wednesday. Now, it was a great day outside. We saw temperatures in the mid-70s, and that is reflected across the metro. We could see 76 up in Kingfisher, Guthrie, 74 in Oklahoma City, and that's pretty much the same situation statewide. We even see out in the Panhandle, they're up to 83 degrees, and it is a great day. It is a little bit windy outside, but this great weather won't last for long. We're tracking rain chances as we progress into this weekend. We could see 20% on Friday for Norman, 30 as we head into Saturday, but then Sunday is when we're going to see our highest rain chances and our severe weather threat. For right now, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk for the Norman area and much of the central part of the state. And heading into Monday, we see that very same situation as well, mainly shifting eastward into Tulsa and Miami. Now, keep in mind, this is still a couple days out, so a lot of data is still coming in, and we are going to keep you updated with all that as we get it. Now, timing-wise, what does that look like? This is Friday. We do start seeing some storms develop in the northern part of the state. These are mainly going to stay north of that I-40 corridor, but something to keep in mind if you have any plans up north for this weekend. Now, as we progress into the weekend, we do start seeing those showers develop around 4 p.m. on Saturday, and they're going to slowly progress into the central part of the state and Norman specifically around those early Sunday morning hours. So this is just something to keep in mind as we are tracking those severe storms, but they're going to move on out as we progress into Sunday evening. Now, talking about these severe storms, I want to break down this setup that we're tracking. So these are our dew point temperatures. Anytime we see dew points in these 60s and then this dry line, this is going to add moist air into the atmosphere. So we're going to keep tracking this, but mainly these storms are going to develop on this side of the dry line. So as we progress into Sunday and into Monday, I want you to notice this dry line does not move. So it is just going to dump rain onto the metro. Again, we're still going to keep tracking this as those models make their way in over the next couple days. Now, something I want to highlight is severe weather safety. It is springtime in Oklahoma, so I want to make sure you guys are fully aware for severe weather season. I want you to make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts, know your safe place, and follow all OU Nightly socials as we are going to keep you updated. We have one of the top programs in the country, and your campus weather authority is on it. So we're going to continue to keep that. Now, for your future precip, we can see Oklahoma City is tracking to get over 2 inches of rain. Now, I want you to notice Norman is right on that line. So as we progress further into the week, we're going to keep tracking this. Now for your 7-day forecast, we're again going to break 80 degrees tomorrow as we get into Thursday, but we're going to keep tracking those severe weather threats as we progress into the weekend and early next week.
Thank you, McKinley. A Pauls Valley High School principal is recovering after a shooting at the school yesterday. Police say he and other school staff confronted and stopped the armed suspect. The principal, Kirk Moore, was shot in the leg and airlifted to a hospital and treated for non-fatal injuries. Authorities say no students were injured. OSBI says the efforts of the principal and school staff stopped the shooter from potentially injuring other students and staff members. The OSBI has released the name of the suspect, who is a 20-year-old former Pauls Valley High School student. And shifting over to sports, the final countdown begins in the NBA as the playoffs are right around the corner.
And with 3 games left on the Oklahoma City Thunder's schedule, we have the scenarios on where OKC could end up in the standings.
So you football spring game is just 10 days away, and one new Sooner says they are running towards new heights. Find out what's next in sports. Hello, I'm Cam Williams, and it's time for sports. Spring football is here, and the Sooners are back on the gridiron as Team 132 is ramping up ahead of the 2026 season. And a point of emphasis coming into this spring was finding a rhythm on offense through the running game. And last season, the Sooners averaged 3.5 yards a rush, good for 118th in the nation. And with the new hire of new running backs coach Dylan McCullough, OU's running game wants to flip the script this upcoming season.
Every day. That's just our number one goal, is just to pound the ball. We want to be able to, we want the team to rely on us to be able to, all right, we got these 5 guys that can just go run the ball. Let's go put it on their back and go win the game.
And the defending champs took care of a Luka-less Lakers squad last night in LA, 123-87, and the Thunder are the first team in NBA history to win 3 straight games by 35 points or more. And SGA led the way with 25 for OKC, and again, didn't play in the fourth quarter for the 25th game this season. It's a back-to-back tonight for the Thunder as they face the Clippers tonight at 9. As the Thunder take on the other LA squad tonight, they can clinch the West's #1 seed and the best record in the NBA for the 3rd straight season with a win in Inglewood. And the defending champs have been dominant this season and can also clinch a win with San Antonio Losh as well. And last night, former Sooner Jeremiah Fears became the youngest guard in NBA history to score 40 points as he notched 40 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and even played both sides of the ball, piling up 3 steals as well in the Pelicans' 152-126 win over the Utah Jazz. Fears also set the Pelicans' rookie franchise record for points in a game. And another former Sooner in the news as Austin Reeves is out for the remainder of the regular season and expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks with a grade 2 side strain. And according to LA head coach J.J. Redick, Reeves was misdiagnosed on the Lakers' road trip in Dallas, and his status for the playoffs is undetermined. And according to On3 head men's basketball coach Porter Moser is losing another key piece as redshirt freshman Kual Atak will be entering the transfer portal. Atak, a sharpshooter from Halton City, Texas, shot 41% from beyond the arc this past season for the Sooners. Abby, Michael.
Thank you, Cam. It's time to put your armor on and go jousting this weekend, Abby.
Coming up, we'll have the details on a special event that is sure to bring people together and throw it back to the Middle Ages after the break.
I'm Sky Clausen at the OU Nightly Update Desk. I-35 shut down for hours in Oklahoma City after a crash kills 3 people, including an OHP trooper, a young woman, and a 4-year-old child. The crash happening just south of Hefner Road. OHP says a small SUV being driven by the young woman southbound on I-35 swerved for an unknown reason, slamming through the cable barrier and into the northbound lanes where it struck an OHP vehicle, killing Trooper Vernon Brake, pictured here in a photo released by OHP. Brake was a veteran of the OHP for 20 years. He is survived by his wife and 2 children. The crash is still under investigation. We will keep you updated on the latest. Abby, Michael, back.
Thank you, Sky, for bringing us that story. McKinley, you said we have a threat for that severe weather this weekend. How's that looking?
Yeah, guys, so our main threat is going to look like an overnight threat as we progress into Sunday and into Monday. But I really want to highlight is our next-gen weather call. It's only $12 per year, and you can hear from your very own OU Nightly meteorologist on all things weather. So it's definitely something you would want to sign up for as we get into the peak of severe weather season. Now, I know there's some events happening this weekend, so it's definitely something to keep aware of in terms of the weather.
Yeah, that's right. Norman will be throwing it back to the Middle Ages this weekend as the annual Medieval Fair will welcome guests beginning on Friday.
The free event showcases food booths, shops, and more. Visitors can throw on their medieval costumes and participate in the event from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. all 3 days.
Guests can park at the Lloyd Noble Center for $10, and OU Nightly will keep you updated on the festivities on our social media. That's worth mentioning, Abby. They say if you bring a weapon, real or fake, it's got to stay in the sheath, which I know is unfortunate with your, you bring your big sword, right, to it?
The only thing that I'm going to be bringing or buying is a turkey leg, so that'll be great.
Yeah, I guess so. But thank you so much for watching OU Nightly. I'm Michael Thompson.
And I'm Abby Hollinsworth. Be sure to watch OU Nightly live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.